Food connects us all to family, friends, culture, and traditions. I'm Brooke Burke, Charvet, a CEO, a television host, but most importantly, I'm a mother of 4 who knows that meaningful meals can last a lifetime. Now I'm a foodie, and I know that what happens in my kitchen keeps my family close. On Breaking Bread, some of Hollywood's best-loved celebrities take us into the kitchen to share the meals that bring meaning to their lives. And we'll walk down memory lane through the palate and stir up some of life's most flavorful memories. I'm in my own backyard in Malibu, and I'm on my way to see the ever-so-lovely Jane Seymour. She's been everything on screen, from Bond Girl to Dr. Quinn. She has a lovely home on the cliffside of Malibu with an incredible garden, one of the best I've ever seen. And she's quite a chef and entertainer. So I'm excited to reconnect, make some delicious food, and just catch up with one of my neighbors. How are you? Welcome back to Malibu. Oh, it's so good to see you.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you for having us in your beautiful home.
Oh, you're welcome. You want to come in? Let's do it. Come on. So this is our living room.
The house looks beautiful, and these are fantastic as well. I'm not sure that people realize how multi-talented you are as an artist, as a dancer, as a designer. I mean, these are beautiful, and the house feels so good.
Well, it's very airy. And you know, my idea was that I wanted to enjoy what you see out here.
It doesn't get much better than this.
You know, indoors meets outside.
Jane, it's just as pretty as I remember it. How blessed are you to be able to take this in? I mean...
I know people say, are you going on vacation? I'm going, actually, my vacation is to stay home.
I couldn't agree with that more.
And eat from my garden and be with my friends. To have this kind of view from everywhere in the house. And the dolphins are always jumping, the whales
healing,
come by.
It?
It's very healing.
How's the garden?
The garden is amazing.
It's one of my most favorite things about your home. It's really impressive. Will you take me down there?
I will.
I want to see it. I'm looking forward to the garden tour.
Here it is.
Wow. Just as I remember it.
We have Japanese eggplant, beans, we've got mange tout pea pods, we've got broccolini, strawberries, every kind of herb. Oh, look, there's cucumbers over there. So this is the blueberry patch. You see how many? It's just crazy.
Oh my gosh. So this is that beautiful, different shape type of kale. Can I taste this?
Yes. Everything's organic here, so you can actually eat it straight off the plant.
Wow.
Here are the carrots. Ta-da.
And they're so sweet.
That's us.
Look, that's us.
Well, it has a baby. Oh, no, it has many babies.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Yeah.
Double
Anyway.
carrot.
Oh, these are apples. Can you believe we've got apples growing here? We've got apples growing next to bananas, peaches. Oh, here we've got artichokes, tons of corn.
Oh my gosh. This may be the only garden where you've got the Pacific Ocean in the backdrop of corn stalks.
Corn stalks.
I mean, this is
and
incredible.
English sweet
and
peas.
English sweet peas.
But you keep going round there, and there's more apples, and then we go to oranges, all the citrus, lemon.
And how much upkeep is this?
It's quite a lot, but I have one guy who's really on top of it all. We have chickens and roosters.
Oh my gosh.
Hello.
It's so cool.
And look at these blackberries.
Wow.
Aren't they beautiful?
That's a burst of flavor, right?
And then down here is my open heart sculpture.
Look at this gorgeous sculpture. Oh,
Climb inside of this thing.
this
it's
is
solid.
so beautiful.
You peek in there.
Oh my gosh. Gorgeous, Jane. Thank you for sharing
You're
this
welcome.
little slice of heaven with us.
I never take it for granted. We've got tomatoes here.
And we'll be able to use these in our salsa?
Absolutely.
Oh, these are beautiful.
There's something about eating fruit and vegetables straight off the vine.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
let's go inside and start cooking.
Juices are flowing. I'm ready to cook.
So what we have here is the most important reason people ever come to this house. There's this wonderful lady called Diana Valdez, and she makes the best guacamole on the planet, and she's allowed me to show you a recipe. Okay,
I will take it all in.
And mostly we use things from the garden. So these are the onions all chopped up. The onions go in here.
Okay.
This was 2 lemons squeezed. You mix the lemons with the onions, get those nice and soaked. Chop some of the cilantro,
Okay.
that's from the garden too. Tomatoes, look at these unbelievable
These
tomatoes.
are so colorful. I mean, look at these.
And they're
people.
amazing, straight off the vine. So we mix all of that up, get that lemon juice, covered all little pieces.
Now, are you picking from the garden all year long?
Yes, and these grow in the garden too. We've got a whole load of different kinds of jalapenos.
Do you like spicy food?
I grew up with spicy food because my mother lived in Indonesia. My mother loved to cook. She had survived a Japanese internment camp during the war for 3.5 years where they tried to starve her to death. And so needless to say, having survived that, her philosophy in life was if she could possibly feed everyone, she would.
I love that.
My mother was so obsessed, I think, after the war that there might not be food, that when we went on a family vacation, she'd pack the car with actually growing lettuce and tomatoes.
Did you get into the kitchen with your mother as a young girl and cook with her?
Absolutely, and to this day, my mother unfortunately has passed. My sisters and I, we cook all the time. That's our favorite thing to do. It's like a joke in our family because whenever we get together, the first thing that happens is we kind of get the chopping boards out and we obsess about what are we going to eat today? Most important ingredient here, avocados, which we grow as well. And this is a wonderful new-fangled thing.
Now, I've never seen one of these before. This is the avocado
like that,
chopper.
Right? You rock it from side to side. When it's ripe, it just comes out beautifully. Look at this. Then you swish it around and isn't that brilliant?
Yes.
Can't have enough avocado in your diet. As you know, it's the
so good
healthiest
for you,
thing
good
ever.
for your hair, good for your skin, gives us energy,
Absolutely.
good fat. Do you spend a lot of time in the kitchen still?
I mean, definitely a lot of time eating in the kitchen. I love it. I mean, any excuse to come into the kitchen and be involved with the food. This is the sport for my family. This is what we all do together when my sisters are here, especially. A little bit of flouries. As you'll notice, we didn't put any salt or pepper in here. This takes care of it. And this is really very much to taste. Of course, this is the important part. We have to taste it. So there's a lot of that goes on.
How is it? Good?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is the food of the gods.
So good.
Isn't it delicious?
So good.
And so fresh.
I love
You
guacamole.
taste the garden. Yummy.
Homegrown. What a difference.
Next, what would you like?
What's a favorite dish of yours? that
The
you
other
make at home?
favorite that is another really naughty but delicious dish is mushroom risotto. We have the most beautiful porcini mushrooms, dried porcini, and these are the portobello mushrooms.
Okay.
And you'd think that just fresh would be what you'd want. You wouldn't want something dry. That
Mushrooms.
is the secret. Dried porcini mushrooms, they're amazing. What we've done here is you put boiling water on top of them, just so they're soaking, and for 20 minutes they soak like this. You want them to get a little bit soft. What I've got over here already is I've got my chicken stock, and the chicken stock's been boiling, it's really nice and hot, and I'm going to put the juice of the porcini mushrooms into that stock.
Is this a family recipe?
Yes, my sister Annie is the one that is really famous for this. Do you want to do a little chopping here?
Sure. How would you like them?
Kind of that sort of size, and not
Okay.
sure, not too small. So these are beautiful portobello mushrooms. Now, while you're doing that, I've got 2 pans going here.
Okay.
I'm going to put olive oil and butter. That is the mix.
Okay.
It's always better when you mix the two because the butter has amazing flavor. And they mix into one another. There's nothing like butter at the end of the day.
Oh, I
So-
agree.
And,
Butter makes everything delicious,
Now we're going to
doesn't
take
it?
the onions.
Nothing like the smell of butter and onion sauteing, right?
Okay, you want to put the garlic in. Got to have garlic. Just mix them all around so it becomes translucent. You don't want to fry them.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure that it's not too hot. So when those are nice and sweaty, we're going to take half of them and put half in this pan. And some of the juice. All right, I'm going to keep this one on right now. Put these mushrooms in here.
Yeah?
Yes, the more the merrier.
Okay.
Let's
And
get
I'll
the,
chop these?
Chop those, that's what we need to do.
I love mushrooms.
My favorite.
You want me to bring those over to you?
Yes, please bring it over. I'm just adding a little bit more moisture to this.
Okay. Wow, these mushrooms are gorgeous. Yeah.
This I'm going to just keep very low. I'm going to let it sweat. I'm going to reheat this onion, and I am going to put rice in.
Of course, we need a little bit of wine.
Oh, we have to have wine.
Now, wait a
White
minute.
wine,
This
JS
is the
wine.
oh, tell me about this. Is this a
Okay.
passion project? I didn't think we're doing
It's a
wine.
passion project. No, you can't buy it. You can only get it if you come to my house. But
Even
it's
better.
a Chardonnay. It's a blend from a single vineyard in Santa Barbara. We also have a Pinot Noir, and it was submitted without me knowing to the San Francisco Chronicle's blind taste. In other words,
Yeah.
no one knew it was mine. That one double gold, this one silver.
No way.
I know.
That's
who knew?
unbelievable.
And you'd think if I was smart, I'd maybe sell it.
You don't want to share it.
No, well, I do. I share it, and people say, "I'll buy it. I'll buy it." I said, "You can't. It's mine."
That's what makes it so special.
I said, "You have to come to the house to
Oh my
appreciate
gosh.
it." So the onions were reheated.
Okay.
I've added this special arborio rice. It's risotto rice. The important thing here is that it gets covered in whatever flavors of the onion that have a little bit, remember, of butter and olive oil. So now I'm putting white wine in, okay? Chardonnay, about half a cup. So now the trick here is let it evaporate, and you don't want it to get dry. Kind of watch it evaporate. You keep moving it around, and you get ready to add chicken stock.
Okay.
Now the chicken stock has that lovely porcini mushroom
The juice.
juice in there as well. So we just keep doing this fairly high.
Smells incredible.
The trick with risotto is you don't want to cook it too much. You have to make sure that it's still kind of al dente. But you have to stay on top of it. You can't just cook this and walk away and then come back. But once it's done, it's just so ridiculously delicious.
Because you were so busy when the kids were little, that's one of the reasons why you love to cook now and garden.
That's true. Family dinner to me is the most important thing. And especially when the family's all cooking. Because everyone does a different dish and then you put it all together and say, "Oh, taste mine. Taste mine." That's really
So fun.
When I did Dr. Quinn, I always remember that all the most important subjects were discussed at the dining room table.
Yeah.
It's something that frees the mind and frees the spirit and allows you to really communicate in a much better way. That's why cooking is important.
I
And
agree.
eating together.
This is looking great.
It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, I think.
What are you painting right now?
Actually playing around with some watercolor inks. I've done a lot of waves. You know, I have a whole kind of philosophy about the wave. Of course, there's waves out here.
I can understand the inspiration.
Well, I've always felt that in life, whatever your circumstances, as if you're born on like a body of water going in a general direction. You're going, you're moving, you're not quite sure where or what or how. And then there comes that woohoo moment where you fall in love, make the team, do well at school. I mean, something special happens. You go, and then like a wave, it crashes, right? It doesn't stay there. And a lot of people, I think, give up on things because they go, "Oh, I'm not doing that again. You know, it hurt too much, or why me, or why did it stop?" What it is, like the wave, it crests, and as it's crashing, it lets go of what it no longer needs. Really important. It's supposed to
We
be
don't
the
let
same
go
way.
of what we don't
You have
need.
to let go of certain things. And as you do that, if your heart's open and you skim the bottom, you come right back up again, and you're open-minded, open-hearted, and the possibilities are limitless. And now you can be open and receptive of something that you might not have been receptive of before. And in my case, it's many different careers, new friendships, new relationships, new ways of communicating with people that I've known for a long time. I never stop learning. My mother's kind of whole theory of if your heart is open, it'll never stay broken is true. What I also say is, and if your heart is open, love will always find its way in. And I think that's what cooking's about. You cook with love. You put your senses into it. You know, you put what grew in nature. You put it all together. Okay, I think that is doing quite well. And I'm going to turn that off right now. And we're going to add this now. Here we go. We're mixing it all up. It's pretty much cooked. You see,
And we didn't
it's
salt
still-
and pepper either, which
no.
is
And you can always add it on the table if you want. Some people don't want to have so much salt. Oh, it tastes delicious. But it is still slightly al dente, but don't worry about it. The last thing you want is for it to be overcooked. Now, if you leave it like that, it's still cooking. I've turned it off, but it's still cooking by itself. Now I'm going to put a little truffle oil in. Truffle oil is this amazing ingredient. I'll put it in almost anything afterwards. Smell it.
oh yeah.
And as we know, truffles cost a fortune, but truffle oil doesn't. It's a wonderful way to upgrade pretty much most things that you do. And then I'm going to put the Parmesan cheese in.
Okay, should I stir that in?
Yep.
And all
And that
mixed
melts
in.
right in. Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely.
Now, to my taste, that doesn't need any salt or pepper.
It's
Isn't
really
that
good. Really good.
Just before you serve it to anybody, you put a little bit of cilantro on the top.
Okay, at the
Just,
very end, so we
yes, that's just for decoration and a little bit
of art.
of flavor. Yeah. So this is ready.
Gorgeous.
Here we go. By far the healthiest thing you can ever eat is salmon.
I try to eat as much salmon as I can. It's so good for us.
People love it. You know, this is an absolutely beautiful recipe that I adore, celebrating the outside, the wonderful things that are growing in the garden. So, first of all, I've got these fabulous pans. I love them.
I know, it's a beautiful shape.
I really love
and this
them.
is so rich and red also.
So beautiful, sockeye.
Sockeye salmon.
So we're going to take the olive oil. That's where I can get artistic here.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is art.
You see,
Food
it
is
is my art. Who knew?
That's right.
Yeah. Then I'm going to put the salmon in very carefully. And then, of course, just a little bit more olive oil. This is a little bit of soy sauce. You don't want too much, but this is instead of too much salt, just a little bit around the sides. This is garlic. Going to put that around. And then one of my favorite ingredients is ginger, root ginger. This is so good for you. I have ginger in my juice every single morning.
And your kale shake. What do you do? Ginger, kale, apple?
Ginger, kale, green apple with celery.
And probably very energizing as well.
Very energizing. And I've even managed to get the kids to drink it now.
That's impressive.
They really like it. It's almost like, you know, when Popeye had his spinach. You know,
Power food.
Power food, yes. Oh, and 3 of these
scallions
chopped up. Okay, this is so simple, this recipe, it's ridiculous. So, and of course, the magic ingredient.
So a little bit of Chardonnay on top?
A little bit of Chardonnay on top. And then we're going to put the lid on top. Okay. The oven has been preheated to 400.
Okay, so this took us 3 minutes.
Yeah, minutes.
Fantastic.
So now I'm going to put that in there. And I think it's going to be in there for about 20 minutes.
And important to cover, yes?
Very important to cover,
okay.
Yes. So now we get to do the fun part. We've got a mango, beautiful, lovely, ripe mango. Chop that up.
Okay.
Dump that in the bowl.
Love mango as well.
Onion, put that in. Tomato, put that in. You're making a salsa. So we've got the chilies again. And we're going to put the lemon juice in, about that much.
Okay.
And then we're going to put a little bit of the famous Lowry's. So there we go. And then we just mix this all up. Of course, we've got to have salsa. And this is just a lovely fresh salsa. It's really delicious, amazing with fresh fish.
Hannah, how long is that going to cook?
It's going to cook for about 20 minutes.
And then we'll be ready for lunch.
And we'll be ready for lunch.
Gorgeous.
That's it, so
It's
simple.
really nice. Fresh, beautiful, full of flavor, healthy.
But as you can see, this dish didn't take very long to do.
I'm not at all.
No.
I love it. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's lovely to be with you at home in the
you're
garden
welcome.
in Malibu with this beautiful home-cooked meal. Let's start with the guac.
Now, one of my tricks when I'm trying to be particularly healthy is I'll eat guac with either celery or cucumber or carrot. But there's nothing like those chips, is it?
So good. This is so good, by the way.
It's really good, isn't it?
Sweet, the spice, the earthiness of the mushroom,
Oh, good.
the truffle oil, nicely done.
How do you like it with the salmon?
I love it. I
Those
like
are
the
two
pop of
completely
spice, and I
different.
love the mango. Very different, but they complement each other nicely. This is impressive. The salmon, also so tender. Well, I'm most impressed with the risotto because the fact that you could make all of these dishes and they're so decadent. I mean, the salmon is cooked perfectly. I love the fusion of the sweetness from the mango and the spice of the peppers and the ginger. Really, really nicely done.
Good.
And the wine is delicious. Do you think
Thank
you'll
you.
continue this project?
Well, you know, I'm thinking about it.
It's a bit selfish that you're not selling it, don't you think?
That's what everyone keeps telling me. Say,
we're
please,
neighbors."
will you do it? Okay. Might talk to some people who know how to do that.
It's really
but
nice.
It's really good, isn't it?
Tell me a little bit more about your mother. Seems like she experienced a lot of adversity in her life.
Well, my mother was born in Holland, and when she was about 20, she went and moved to the Dutch East Indies, to Indonesia, and she lived on a tea plantation. She was married to a man there, and then the war broke out, and she ended up in an internment camp. And she was there for 3.5 years. They tortured them, starved them. A lot of women died, and children. By the time I knew her, obviously it was after the war, and she met my father, and it was all about having food, about being very grateful for life. And my mother's philosophy was just so special to me, you know, the idea that she could come through terrible things in life and come out as a very positive person. Because most people that came out of those camps came out very traumatized. But she found a way to process it. And she always told me that however bad she would feel or however tough a circumstance would be for her, there would always be someone worse off than her.
That's true.
And that was really her philosophy. When you think that, you know, the worst is happening to you and it's all about you, if you can open your heart and reach out and actually pay attention to what you can uniquely do to help someone else, it gives you purpose and it brings love and fulfillment into your life. And that's why I created the open heart.
It was her inspiration.
Very much so. I felt, you know, your heart is open and you reach out and there's another open heart, and that's what made the two open hearts, like the one I'm wearing here. This particular image is called the wave.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love the philosophy. It's a really important message, and I think that, you know, for me, love is a verb, it's an action. And we have to constantly remind ourselves to keep that openness. So the message that you speak through your jewelry and through this business that you made that came from a very real story from your mother's philosophy is really beautiful, and it makes it so much more special.
Well, I'll tell you, there's one other thing that happened. When I played Maria Callas in a movie about Onassis, I had bronchitis, and they gave me a shot of antibiotics to get me better quicker, because, you know, when you're in business, they want you better now.
Sure.
It went horribly wrong. I got anaphylactic shock. I nearly died, and they resuscitated me. But the point of this story is that I realized that when you die, you take nothing with you but the love you've shared and the difference you've made. You know, really, that is what life is about, love, and it's about being there for other people.
It's so interesting and powerful how love is intertwined through all your messages and all your businesses with the same philosophy. Do you hope your children carry on that message?
You know what my children do? They're pretty humble, and they really do care about other human beings. I'm more interested that my kids be really good, caring, loving people.
Yes.
Than that they become rich and famous.
I couldn't agree more. It's the most important thing. I think it's amazing what you've created here in the privacy of your own home, though. The nucleus, sort of the heartbeat of all these businesses that you've built.
Well, that's very kind of you, but I am supported by an amazing team of people, and I think that's what, you know, makes it possible. It's one thing to have the idea and to be able to make these things, and you then need a team of people to make sure that it all connects.
It does take a village.
So I think we have to drink to the team.
Yes, to the team.
Yes, to the team.
Thank you for having me in your beautiful, magical piece of paradise.
You're welcome anytime.
And the home-cooked meal.
Thank you.
Thank you.